Childhood is shaped by the morals that we learn and are taught throughout each individual's childhood. These morals and values start to shape who we are from a very young age and determine our values as we grow older. Morals are communicated through many ways, but especially through children's books and stories, which we read and loved when we were children. Today I'm going to demonstrate how these children's books have such an impact on our childhood through the morals and values the book possess. The two texts I'll be comparing is Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Brother Grimm's Hansel and Gretel. These books represent childhood by exploring childhood through different morals which have similar themes throughout the story. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl is a children's novel about finding hope in a life full of misery. The protagonist in the story is a young boy named Charlie who lives in severe poverty. Although he lives in extreme poverty, family is everything to Charlie and he loves and cares for all his grandparents and his two parents. Charlie grows up learning to be a selfless young boy and waiting for a spark of hope to save him and his family. When Charlie wins the golden ticket for Mr. Wonka's chocolate factory, he realises this could be the ticket he was hoping for. Hansel and Gretel is one of many children's fairy tales by the Grimm brothers. This fairy tale is about a family that suffers by living in poverty and struggles to live off what they earn and to supply for their two kids, Hansel and Gretel. The kids are left stranded in the woods by their parents one day. Hansel and Gretel search everywhere for a way home. They reach a little cottage in the middle of the forest made of candy. After being starved, they find themselves gobbling down the delicious house until the old lady who owns the house invites them inside. The old lady turns out to be a wicked witch and has kidnapped them to eat for herself. The story then shows their journey they take to not only escaping to reach their parents, but also finding a solution to living in poverty. Both the texts I've selected explore childhood from two different time periods, but are still able to relate back to children and explore the morals that, although are different, still shape children's values and beliefs. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl explores the different behaviours that young children possess. For example, the 5 children that are selected to attend Mr. Willy Wonka's chocolate factory all represent a different type of child. Augustus is greedy, Veruca is bratty, Violet is an obsessed gum chewer, and Mike is obsessed with television. By creating bad behaviours for each of the children, Dahl makes it clear that these children are bad. In doing so, he makes Charlie all the more obvious as the hero of his story. Parental influences also reflect on their personalities and values widely. 4 of the children invited were the image of a spoilt and disrespectful child who was given everything they wanted by their parents. Each spoilt child would scream, "Where's my golden ticket? I want my golden ticket," until their parents found them what they wanted, as they vowed, "I would keep up the search until I got what she wanted." Because of this, each child was punished for being selfish or self-obsessed. As the Oompa Loompas say in the book, it serves them right. The one other representation in the story was Charlie, who was the image of the perfect child, selfless, loving, creative, and respectful, and a fine little fellow, as they would say. These representations of childhood are there to show the children reading the book right from wrong, and to weave the ideas of being a bad child comes with disadvantages and punishments, where if you are good, you will be rewarded. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory explore the themes of poverty-stricken families and how the theme of food represents wealth in the story, and how one determined bright boy can change the fate of one family. The Grimm brothers, Hansel and Gretel, teach the children the original moral which a lot of old fables have: be wary of strangers. This is because they use this story and many other original stories to not so much entertain but to scare children of going into the forest and talking to strangers. In the fairy tale, you're introduced to 2 young characters, Hansel and Gretel, who deal with living in poverty and living with a mother that despises them and sees them as just another wasteful mouth to feed. Once they are lost in the forest, they come face to face with the temptation too good to resist and what looks like a resolution to all their problems: an edible house made of sweets. They started munching away at the house without thinking, as they thought it would be fine. This represents a hidden model about judging a book by its cover, as the kids perceived the house as being delicious and lovely, where on the inside it contained horrible things, such as the lovely old lady who turned out to be a wicked witch, as the old woman, although her behaviour was so kind, was a wicked witch who lay in wait for the children and had built the house on purpose to entice them. This explores the moral of being wary of strangers, as the Wicked Witch ended up kidnapping the two children and was planning to eat them. Hansel and Gretel, the fairy tale, contain very important teaching morals, which were important to teach children then and still is today, as the moral and beliefs in these stories relate to today's childhood. Although the morals of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Hansel and Gretel are different, the similarities of the themes in the story relate between both families living in poverty, where the children of the story are given good traits to resolve the conflict in the stories. These children in both stories have the trait of being courageous and independent, as they took on many challenges themselves, which proved to influence the audiences of the stories. The item of food representing wealth also made regular occurrences in each story, as the authors of the book both express the importance of food in society today and how some people around the world are also short of food supplies. In the end, in both stories, the children find a solution to both their problems. Each story explores justified morals that teach children but also explore different ideas of childhood. Both Dahl and Grimm brothers have created clever stories to not only entertain children but to teach the audience different morals and beliefs that lead to shaping an individual's personality. Thank you.